Welcome everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to the recording. Today I'm super excited to talk with Dr Sandi Eveleth. Sandi has many levels of experience with optometry and digital marketing. And we're going to be talking about the new Facebook changes. Facebook Zero, some people are calling it, which could have big implications for your Facebook page. So I'll introduce Dr Sandi Eveleth. She's an optometrist, eye care practice consultant, and digital marketing strategist. And she loves helping eye care professionals grow their practice with the latest digital marketing and business development strategies. She's been practicing optometry for over 27 years in almost every setting possible, from owning a thriving practice privately for more than 15 years, or to working in corporate optometry, and also working for ophthalmologists too. She holds a Doctor of Optometry degree from the New England College of Optometry, where she was valedictorian, and that's very cool, and a Bachelor of Science degree from Boston College. In 2009, Sandi founded Kiss Your Web, LLC, and KISS stands for Keeping Internet Solutions Simple. That's a great way to get your practice up and running as a web design and digital marketing firm. And Sandi's also a WordPress Elevation certified digital business consultant. So thanks so much for joining us, Sandi.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Lee. I appreciate it. It's great. We just mentioned how off camera there that it's great we finally get to meet each other. We've kind of been supporting each other in this digital marketing space as optometrists, so it's great to finally meet you face to face.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear, how did you get into optometry in the first place? What
good question. Sure. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, even when I was in undergrad, and started working for an ophthalmologist that my cousin worked for. And he had an optometrist there, and I thought, hey, that seems like a pretty neat profession. So I applied to the one and only school that was in my state, and I figured if I got in, it was meant to be. So the rest is history. It's been great ever since. Like you said, I've been doing a lot of different things in the profession, and am now doing a lot more consulting for optometrists as well. So it's exciting. I just love seeing other people do really well in business and in their practices, and just enjoy this digital marketing space, and got into it after I realized that as a private practice owner, I needed to, kick our marketing up a notch. When I came out of corporate optometry, it was, you don't just build it and they will come. You have to get out there and hit the beat and get patients, because they're not going to automatically follow you just because you stay in the same town.
With your journey with optometry, did you start so you started at an ophthalmology practice, or did you start?
No, when I first coming out of school, I was in a corporate location, did that for a couple of years, and then went inside as the main doctor with my partner, as the optometrist there, and it was a 7-day-a-week location, and then decided after a few years that just wasn't why we did this, so we went in and started our own practice cold. And again, thought that most of our corporate patients would follow us, but had some rude awakenings with that as well. Okay. So it's it's been a long haul. So did that for 15 years, grew the practice to almost 7 figures, and it was a nice neighborhood, quiet practice, but we did very well for the demographic. So, and then back into corporate optometry, and now doing more consulting.
That's awesome. It's great to be able to give others a hand along the way.
Absolutely.
So just 48 hours ago, Mark Zuckerberg released a very big announcement. Normally, Facebook has small incremental changes.
Yes.
But Mark's put this idea out that people aren't interacting enough on Facebook.
Right.
That people are scrolling through too much. So what's the news that he's shared that we need to talk about?
Well, I mean, it's long, and we can leave a link and actually use his words, but the gist of it is that for companies that have built Facebook pages and built a fairly good following, or just starting out, that Facebook is no longer going to be pushing organic content on those pages to the regular. He's basically trying to make it a good user experience for all of us, personally. So, he thought that it's just kind of getting gummed up with too much advertising and marketing and not enough interacting, that the people-to-people interactions were starting to go away. So I think it's a good move in one respect. I think it's a scary move for some businesses, but I'll tell you that most of the experts in this space will basically say, look, if you're putting out good content, yes, the reach may be going down, but if you're getting good engagement and getting people to comment and comment back and forth, that's the big thing, is you want to push out content where people are actually talking to each other, not talking to the owner or talking to the page. So as long as you're pushing out content that's getting good engagement, you're still going to get fairly good reach. I think the good news is that I was a little nervous about it first, but I think the good news is that Facebook advertising, which is a really good way to market your practice, is not going to be affected. Facebook has actually come out and answered some questions to the experts and said, no, Facebook advertising is not going to be affected. Of course, that stands to be seen. I think what might happen is because our organic reach in the Facebook pages is going to go down, there's going to be more competition in buying those ads. It is relatively inexpensive to pay for Facebook advertising. We may see that that's going to become more expensive in the future. I'll be honest with you, I know, watching this very closely, that Facebook page reach has been going down steadily for probably the last 6 to 12 months. So, we've had to make other efforts to try to get people to see our posts, our practices posts. So I'm not as panicky as when this first came out, because of course a lot of people are going to make you panic, thinking that this is the end and Facebook zero and Facebook apocalypse. Certainly, I don't think that's going to happen, because Facebook is in the business of being in business. So of course they need to have people hanging around, and they get a lot of their income from Facebook dollars, Facebook advertising.
So it sounds like, although this is a big announcement, it sounds like it's just a continuation of the journey of Facebook refining their newsfeed.
Absolutely. And some of the advice that I give, and I'm giving heavily, and I gave before this information came out, is to do exactly what you're doing right now, is to do Facebook Live broadcasts. Facebook has obviously, it's when you look at any of the numbers or you do any of the analytics, it's very evident that Facebook is pushing out anyone that's doing Facebook Live broadcasts. I think that what you're going to see is, well, now everybody thinks, hey, I've got to get on Facebook Live and start pushing out some of this from our pages. The problem is that might get a lot of noise as well. So they're saying, well, it's not going to just be content that we may push out like Facebook Lives. It's going to be Facebook Live where people are starting to interact. They want to see that people are engaging in Facebook Live. So there's going to need to be a lot of prep work and letting people know that you're doing a Facebook Live broadcast, inviting people to join in the conversation without using something called clickbait, which Facebook is going to heavily penalize. And clickbait is saying something on your live broadcast like, hey, please comment below and we'll give you a free pair of sunglasses. That will be heavily penalized. That's not going to happen anymore, because I think people are just tired of seeing all of this marketing out there, and they're listening. So that's the big recommendation that I have for practices, and we can talk about some ideas of what we can do for something like that, in a few minutes or so. But
yeah, sure. The newsfeed itself, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or any other network, we're used to scrolling through, and it's
sure.
so easy to keep look at one post, flick to the next. It seems like the interaction that Facebook wants us to get does require a lot more effort. For someone to like something, that's pretty easy, but it sounds like
sure.
they want a lot more quality engagement than just a like.
Well, absolutely. It's not just a like, and it's not just even a comment. It's conversation inside the post. So if you do come up with, some good content, you're talking about something that either, maybe a new test that you have or a new specialty that you have, or something that's really hitting a problem that your, prospective patients or your patients have, then we're hoping that garners conversation. And again, it's not conversation just talking to you as the page owner, but it's conversation where people are talking to each other. And it's not even just a quick comment like, hey, thank you so much for that wonderful tip about, vision therapy. It's more conversation where two people are talking to each other saying, hey, it might be a mom, tell me more about your son's outcome for vision therapy. And then the mom gets in there and starts talking about, her child's vision therapy results. So it's not going to be easy, but it's really getting that engagement and top quality content. They also don't want you just pushing out content on a scheduled on a schedule. That a lot of page owners are doing, small business and large businesses are doing, is they just plug in content and they stick it into a software that schedules the content and just pushing it out there. They are going to be very aware of that, and they're going to decrease your reach to your patients and prospective patients if you do that. So it's not just throw up these posts just to have quantity. They are looking for quality, and they would prefer that you decrease the amount of posts that you do. They also, it sounds like from people like Mari Smith and Mike Stelzner of Social Media Examiner that don't even put links to your blog. This is something we were taught for years, is to drive traffic to your website is to put links to your blog posts, and they're of the mindset that no, don't do that. We've known that you don't want to put links to YouTube on your Facebook page because Facebook's biggest competition is Google, and Google owns YouTube. So, it's that sort of organic conversation and content that needs to be incredible quality and needs to get engagement. Now, having said that, I still believe that organic reach of your Facebook page is going to be dying off. In order to stay in front of patients and prospective patients, you're going to have to start paying for advertising. But even in that, you want to make sure it's good quality ads.
For sure. And just going back to what you were saying about Google, it sounds with Google's like it puts patients at the center, and it's fine. They can find out their own healthcare interests. They can Google optometrist.
Right.
Optometrist Los Angeles. It's putting them at the center from a Google perspective, but it sounds like Facebook's copying a similar mindset as well.
Well, that's funny that you said that, because I almost posted something about that. It almost sounds like where Google was getting very smart with their algorithm and cleaning out all of that bad, what they call search engine optimization on websites, where people were just stuffing their websites with phrases that they thought would get them to the top of Google. Well, Google started to penalize that, and it sounds like Facebook's doing the same thing. Is they're really trying to get back to what was Facebook originally meant for, and it was meant for the personal interaction, people-to-people interaction, and they've seen that that's been dropping off, and because of that, they want to get rid of the stuff out of the news feed that's slowing down that people-to-people interaction. They even came out and said that I don't know if it was the right verbiage or if they implied it, that it's not healthy. They've done studies, and it's not healthy for us not to be interacting with each other. That was the original intent of Facebook, is to have this connection, people-to-people connection.
It's hard to see those photos of the people on exotic holidays on the beach somewhere, and yeah, you're not there. So
right.
So,
and that's another whole subject altogether, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get back to, hey, we made this for friends and family, and let's talk that way. Let's have those conversations. I think digital marketing as a whole, it kind of put a barrier, even though it was for us to connect and get closer together. I think it started to be this thing where we are staying at home and not connecting with each other. So I think it's, hey, let's use these platforms to get connected. I think digital marketing, in fact, I just was interviewed on a podcast that digital marketing in 2018, and you're going to see a lot of digital marketing gurus talking about this, making connections. I want to make sure I'm still connected. I know
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
connecting,
yeah.
but it's going to be, it's be authentic, be transparent. These are words that we throw around very loosely, but it's be yourself. People want to know who the owner behind the company is. Content has to be, it has to be a given that the content is amazing and valuable, and that you're adding value to somebody's life and to to the experiences that they're having. And I think for a few years now, the digital marketing was just getting, we were getting inundated with sort of this barrage of advertising that we were trying to stop on television. We're clicking through these ads. So it's the same thing on the news feed. We're flying by the ads. So, we need to figure out, number one, we need to figure out who our audience is, and we need to give them content that they want to have. Ask them. Don't be afraid to ask either your patients, your customers, your clients, the current ones, or go out there and do some surveys and find out, what your target market really wants from you, and give it to them. It's that simple.
Sure.
It's caring about your audience, caring about your patients, caring about, how you're gonna help them.
I like that word caring. That's a great summary. It just
Yeah.
shows. I mean, because we're already good at caring for patients in the office, so it should continue like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, this is, all of the usual marketing 101 kind of things that we do when you own a local business. Get involved in your community, step away from the computer and get out there, and again, show that you care about where you live, show that you care about what the patient's day-to-day lives are about. Help them. We find out what their eye care needs out there and find out how we can help in the community as well. And again, there are ways to do that online, that showing that you are involved in the local community.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And people can also, if they've got an existing Facebook page, they can also dive into some of their insights as well to give them some ideas.
oh, sure. You mean like the analytics or
Yeah,
the
Facebook.
the? Oh, sure. And again, I think that may make them sad if they start looking at some of that, and find out what's working. Is there realizing, okay, now I have to get some good content. I need to get some interaction from my patients, from my current patients, or people that have liked my page. Find out what posts are getting the most engagement and what aren't. It's pretty easy, even in the posts themselves, though. You'll be able to find out what kind of reach that you're getting. It's actually called reach. That's why we're using this verbiage. But and there's a lot of information online that will help with giving you ideas of what gets better reach. I think it's going to behoove all of us to watch closely what some of the experts are talking about. There's some people that are doing this all day long. They're testing, they're trying things out. We, as private practitioners or practitioners in the profession, don't really have time. We're taking care of our patients, so we don't have a lot of time to watch that. But if you're doing it yourself, there are ways to find out if if what you're putting out there is getting paid attention to. But again, not to sound doom and gloom, I really think that organic reach is going to be very, very difficult. I think more and more we're going to find that if we do want to use Facebook to market our practices, we're going to have to purchase some advertising, or get out there in front of the camera and do some Facebook Live. But again, even at that, if it's just organic and you're not purchasing advertising for that, it's going to be difficult to get in front of your audience.
Do you think, I like how you mentioned community before and promoting the community. Do you think that having, for an idea for optometrists with groups, do you think
Yes.
that groups, that optometrists starting a local group, even for allied health,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's kind of the third arm in all of this is, how to improve organic, still do Facebook as the third thing is to have groups. And I don't think it's too difficult. I think you can start with your current patient base and also look for general interests that are in the community. If there's something that the community is excited about, you can certainly invite people from that, from another group or from the community into your group. But that's going to be another way that Facebook is going to allow you to have a lot of reach. You're going to get a lot of engagement typically inside a group if they've joined your group, whether you've invited them or they've found you and they've, asked to be part of the group. That they're genuinely interested. And this has been going on, I would say, probably for the last 6 months, is that engagement on Facebook pages has gone down as engagement in Facebook groups has gone up. And you and I know that as being part of, optometry groups, whether they're business related or diagnosis and treatment related, there's a lot of engagement. We're part of groups that are 30,000, 40,000 strong. I know that there are local groups out there that have 10, 20, 30,000 people in it. And even if they're not all active, there's a good number of people that are getting the information that you're, sending out into the group. And again, I think Facebook is going to reward that, at least for now, because they know that that's a place that engagement is pretty high. Again, down the road, who knows? If that starts to look spammy and starts to be a problem, then something will probably happen there as well. But, keeping in mind, and then there's the chatbot marketing. That's where you're marketing through direct messaging. There's a lot of conversation about that. Good, bad, or otherwise. Again, find out what your particular patient demographic is interested. If it's, a demographic that's not even on Facebook, it's not going to do any good. None of this conversation will do any good because they're just not paying attention there. But find out if your patients would enjoy getting messages through Facebook. And you can set up automatic messaging that as long as you're transparent and let people know that it's not you at the moment, that there's actually a robot doing it for you, but you can set up some very personal messages that can go out through using chatbot messaging.
So optometrists could put some of their most frequently asked questions on the chatbot, and
absolutely,
is that
absolutely. Absolutely. Frequently asked questions. There might be some new services that you're offering. There might be, new staff that might be popular for the area that a lot of people would like to know about. There's so many different things that you could do. Again, taking it through chatbot, but also taking it to your Facebook Live. Ideas for that as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's really building on that foundation.
It is. And the funny thing is, and you and I know this is marketing 101. This is the only thing that's changed is we've added this layer of digital. This is the same kind of integrative and ethical marketing that we should have been doing offline before digital marketing ever came to fruition. So care first, find out what your audience wants. Again, current prospective patients, think about what that ideal patient would look like if you unfortunately don't have an ideal patient in your practice, which I'm sure all of us do. Create one. Write down what would their age be, what's their, what are the kind of things they get involved in, what would be some of their eye care problems, and then tailor your content to that, tailor your marketing to that. Find out where they hang out online. I'm sure it's not just Facebook. If it's a young demographic, they're probably on Snapchat or Instagram. So don't limit yourself. The other thing I say is video is huge, not just on Facebook, but on YouTube. And as I always say, to people that don't realize this, I ask them what the number one search engine is, and everybody knows it's Google. And then what's the number two search engine, and they don't know, and it's YouTube. And of course, Google owns YouTube. So have a YouTube channel. Things like that. All kinds of ideas.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it's great to keep up with people like yourself to stay at that leading edge. And keep
absolutely. And you do a great job too. We really, really appreciate you're very generous with your information. You're generous with lifting other people up as well, and we appreciate that.
Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate that. You bet.
Just this January, you've launched a new consulting service for optometrists. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Sure. Well, it's been a little bit longer than that. I kind of misled you when I was talking about this earlier, but officially, DrSandiEveleth.com is consulting. I've probably had it for about a year, but I've been consulting other optometrists for, ever since I've been in practice. I've had so many optometrists coming to me, how did you start cold? How did you build a thriving practice? So a lot of that information went out freely, and I realized that that's some pretty good information, and I had hired consultants in the past, so I know, I'm privy to that information as well. So at this point, yes, starting yesterday, starting last year, I've got this consultancy business, and you can find out more about it at DrSandiEveleth.com. That's a mouthful, so I know that you've tagged me probably in the Facebook Live, and I'll give you the link. I do have a special offer for your viewers that, I give them an hour of my time, and I spend probably a half a day researching all of their digital marketing footprint, and then I end up giving them a recorded session of our session together and a marketing plan. Within a couple of days, they get that as well. So I love it. I, as you can tell, I'm very passionate. You've been able to pick up on my passion in the Facebook groups when I talk about and try to help other optometrists grow their practices. And I'm here to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's been great to have someone to lean on that in that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on, giving on your Saturday to.
Absolutely.
It's been a bunch of fun, and I look forward to staying in touch with you and all the good things.
Absolutely. I'll keep you posted. I'll drop any new information in your Facebook page as I find out what this Facebook Zero is all about.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much again. It's been wonderful.
You bet.